We live in this world that's just obsessed with being busy, right? Every single second is supposed to be optimized for something. But what if I told you that the most productive thing you could possibly do is to do absolutely nothing? And this quote, wow, it just perfectly captures this modern anxiety, doesn't it? It's that nagging feeling, the one, when you're just trying to relax and your brain is screaming that you should be doing something else. It's a feeling that has become so common, it's pretty much universal at this point. I mean, seriously, think about it for a second. You're watching a movie, you're trying to read a book, or maybe you're just staring out the window for a minute. And then that little voice pipes up in your head, right? Is this really the best use of your time? Yeah. If that sounds familiar, trust me, you are not alone. Okay, so let's really dig into this feeling. What is this guilt that just seems to haunt our downtime and turns what should be relaxing into something stressful? Well, that feeling, it's not just in your head. It's a real, recognized phenomenon, and it has a name: toxic productivity. Just being able to put a name to it, that's the first step towards actually dealing with it. Okay, now, what's so interesting about this definition is that phrase, unhealthy desire. See, this isn't about being productive. That's a good thing. This is about the compulsion to be productive, that need to always go the extra mile, even when no one's asking you to. And it's actually, hurting you. And here is a perfect example of where that pressure comes from. We are just bombarded with messages like this. Think about it. During a global pandemic, the expectation was still to hustle, to optimize, to come out of it with a new skill or a side business. It's just exhausting, isn't it? So the really crucial point here is that this stuff goes deep. For a lot of people, being productive becomes a kind of coping mechanism, a way to deal with discomfort. If we just keep doing things, we don't have to feel things. And so stillness can start to feel dangerous. It's like you're falling behind in some invisible race you didn't even sign up for. So where did this whole hustle culture machine even come from? How did we get here, to a place where just resting feels like an act of rebellion? Well, let's take a quick look back at the history. Well, the short answer is a big fat no. This modern work ethic of ours didn't just pop up overnight. Its roots go back centuries. It's really a carefully constructed system, and if we want to dismantle it, we first have to understand where it came from. Okay, so just look at this timeline. It all kind of kicks off in the 16th century with the Protestant work ethic. Suddenly, hard work isn't just about survival anymore, it's a moral thing, a sign of divine favor. Fast forward to the industrial age, and you get Taylorism and Fordism, which are all about scientifically optimizing every single human movement for speed. And today, well, with digital tools, the factory is literally in our pockets, pushing us to hustle 24/7. You can draw a straight line from then to now. And get this quote shows that the logic of the assembly line is alive and well. I mean, that's a modern journalist describing work at Amazon, but doesn't that sound exactly like that scientific management stuff from the early 1900s? It's all about getting rid of human inefficiency to squeeze out more output, which, let's be honest, sounds a whole lot like treating people like robots. Okay, so that's the machine we're all up against. But here's the good news. People are starting to push back. There's a growing movement of folks who are actively looking for the off switch. And wow, the contrast here could not be more clear. On one side, you have the relentless pressure of the hustle, and on the other, you have this simple, almost radical act of just choosing to rest and disconnect. It's a really powerful choice to make. And let me be clear, this isn't just a few people here and there. We're actually seeing a genuine cultural shift happening. People are consciously rejecting that always-on mentality, and they're looking for a more sustainable way to live. And if you need proof, here it is. Get this. Between 2019 and 2020 alone, viewership for YouTube videos about slow living went up by 4 times, a 4x increase. That's huge. It shows people are actively looking for an alternative. So what exactly is slow living? Well, it's basically about consciously choosing to do things at the right pace, not just the fastest possible pace. It's about being more deliberate, prioritizing things like community or creativity or just your own well-being over constant output. At its core, it's about respecting your own limits. Now, I know what you might be thinking. Slow living sounds like this massive lifestyle overhaul, right? Like you have to move to a cottage in the woods or something. But you really don't. The change can actually be much, much smaller. So let's talk about a super powerful, really accessible tool, the micro break. It's a simple, restorative little technique that literally anyone can start using, like right now. And just to be clear, we're not talking about your long scheduled lunch break. Nope, these are short, spontaneous little pauses. And the science on this is really clear. These tiny breaks directly fight back against the effects of toxic productivity. They're proven to improve your focus, reduce fatigue, help prevent burnout, and even help your physical health. That whole powering through idea, it's not a superpower, folks. And look how easy this is. We're talking 30 seconds of deep breathing, getting up and walking into a different room, or just stepping outside for a minute, doodling at your desk, watering your plants. The whole point is to just intentionally shift your focus, even for a brief moment. Seriously, you could do any one of these things right now. So when you put all this together, it really brings us back to a pretty fundamental question. We've been chasing this idea of productivity for so long, but what does that word even mean anyway? This really sums up the whole conflict perfectly, doesn't it? On one hand, society tells us to hustle 24/7, but what our bodies and minds actually need is for us to respect our limits. We're told to optimize every single second, but what we really need is to disconnect and slow down. And maybe the biggest one of all, we're taught to equate our work with our worth, when we desperately need to start valuing rest as an essential, non-negotiable part of a good life. And so this is the final thought I really want to leave you with. For centuries, we've kind of let other people define what productivity means for us. But what if we changed the definition? What if a truly productive day wasn't about how many things you crossed off your to-do list, but about how well you actually took care of yourself? So I'll ask you, what does being productive truly mean to you?